All right, everybody. Welcome George Blum back to the podcast.
What's up, Bobby? How you doing, man? Sorry, I'm not in the regular attire. It's a Sunday night, working all day, did some home stuff, so appreciate it.
Absolutely, George. No worries. And George, big time realtor up in over in Jacksonville, Florida. Obviously, always good to have you and your expertise on. I know you've been on the podcast numerous times. This podcast is a little bit different. This podcast is going to be centered around Elon Musk and all the different adventures and life avenues that he's going down right now.
Yeah, I just thought it would be cool to do it. We usually talk real estate, like you said, doing something a little different, mixing it up. And I think Elon Musk, great topic. There's always something new going on. And, he just purchased Twitter, which is crazy, which is really cool. Super ambitious there. So I'm glad we can touch on that and kind of go over a few other things.
Yeah, absolutely. And he does always have something new and interesting going on. The gentleman seems to be a pioneer in business, super entrepreneurial, and also very passionate about the things that he seems to like and deem to be important. So, George, how many companies does Elon Musk own?
I mean, what's public? I mean, who knows? 10 companies almost. I know he started with like the Zip2 system with PayPal, sold the PayPal, helped get the money from that. He has SpaceX, Tesla, the most boring company in the world, which is the boring company. He's got the OpenAI, he's got the Neuralink. I mean, he's got a few other ones, man, but he's got some really cool stuff going on right now. And it seems like each one of these companies that he has is really kind of geared towards transitioning the world to sustainability and also making extraterrestrial life like multiplanetary, feasible, which is pretty cool. Like, hey, I care about the whole world. I want to start making companies and build companies to help make sure the human race is protected.
And it seems like his brother is very similar in that thought and that mindset. I know you've had some interactions with his brother out in like the Midwest, or what exactly does his brother do, and what kind of interactions have you had with his brother?
So Kimmel Musk is a pretty cool guy. I flew out to Colorado to meet him a few years ago. He invited me out to his restaurant out there. He's opening up another restaurant out there and did kind of like a grand opening slash networking event. Victoria and I flew out there, which is really, really cool. I mean, when you get a message and saying, "Hey, you can come to my restaurant opening," you're like, "Is this real or not?"
Yeah.
It was amazing. So went out there, met him. He's like a restaurateur doing like organic restaurants and health food places, things like that. And he invests and he's been on the board of Tesla, I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. He's on the board of Chipotle. So he's really kind of like in the food industry. He has a bunch of different companies that help, create like urban farming and urban gardening in schools and in cities. Square Roots is really cool what he has. He actually grows food in shipping containers. Actually, real quick, we went to Miami to look at the shipping container farm.
You did. Absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
that was great. We had a good time.
Wasn't for us at the time, but was a great learning experience and super fascinating stuff.
Oh yeah, I think what we saw was kind of like subpar what he's doing.
Because the videos we had been watching of what he was doing and some of his counterparts was a lot more advanced and push button, and it works compared to what we viewed, which was a lot more groundwork needed to be done.
Correct. Yeah. Still, look at all your options. It was good.
Yeah, good vacation, good business vacation out of it. Did you get the chance to, you actually shook his brother's hand, right? Like you guys actually had interaction together?
Yeah, I'm gonna actually send you a picture that we took together, and I'm gonna send it over to you so you can do a little pop up on the video podcast screen.
Absolutely. I like that. That's a good idea right there. And of these companies that he has, I think well, the probably like the most popular one is Tesla. And one of the things I find so interesting about Tesla is he launched an electric car company at the time where the only thing that was out there was the Prius.
Right. And there was a car before that. I forget the name of it and forget which company it was. I think it was GM that made it. But how I actually found out about Tesla when it was 2009 or 10, I watched the documentary Who Killed the Electric Car, and he was in there right when he was first starting Tesla, you building the roadster using like the Lotus body and all of that, which was
Yeah.
really cool. That's kind of how I first got him. I was like, this guy's really cool.
And he creates this electric car company. At the time, there's only the Prius. When the Prius was really known kind of as like it's kind of like a Corolla, a Civic. It's half gas, half electric. It's not known,
Slow,
yeah, it's not known for speed. It's kind of known for being like being really frugal.
the hippie kind
Yeah,
of guy drives it.
so like the electric cars just got this really like the whole all the electric cars have this boring. I mean, it's good on gas, I guess, but kind of stay away from that. This guy comes in and creates Tesla cars that do 0 to 60 in like 5 seconds or less. They're self-driving. The entire roof is just panel glass. You don't ever go to a gas station again. I mean, that's a huge visionary thought, and
I
to
mean, just
execute it.
I don't know how his mind works. I'm doing some Airbnbs, I'm building some properties, I'm managing a few different businesses that I'm doing. I mean, this guy's building, generational. I mean, it's nuts what this guy's doing.
Then you look at like Solar City. Look at Solar City. I'm surprised Solar City doesn't get more attention than it does because, well, when you think about life from a sustainability point of view, you look at solar energy and solar panels, and you'd think that there'd probably be more view on that. I think I read that his company Solar City is worth like $10 billion, which is
Yeah, it's worth a lot too. So what happened? He helped his cousin start Solar City.
hmm,
Lyndon Rive, I forget the other gentleman's name, but he helped them start Solar City, helped fund it, was an investor and things like that. They got that going. I actually worked for them a little bit out in San Diego and California. Did that for a little bit before I came here to do real estate.
no kidding.
But he acquired that company a little while ago, a few years ago, and there was a big decision because the board, some of the board members and the shareholders were against that. So he's actually going to court, or he already went to court about being sued by one of the shareholders that it wasn't in the best interest of Tesla to purchase that. But that's following his goals, which is to transition the world to sustainability and alternative renewable energy. And solar is a big part of that.
And then he gets in, he either creates PayPal or takes it over. And what I heard was he had taken over PayPal because he wanted there, or he created it because he wanted there to be a more simple way to have access to money online and to make payments online.
Yeah, it was like an X.com, which turned into PayPal, but it was kind of all together. And that was like his first major thing that he created besides like Zip2, which was like another company. I think that even was part of that. I don't know all the details, but then he sold that for just like, I think he got like a couple $100 million from that, sold for billions, but I think his part was like a couple $100 million. I'm like, wow, your first deal as an entrepreneur was a couple $100 million.
That's right. That was one of his first deals that he ever.
Right.
And it's interesting because it's like he sees a need for making payments online more simple, more easy. And he's like, I can go after that and make that really effective and make that really well.
Right. Yeah. And I believe as soon as he did that, I think right after that, he started SpaceX, and then Tesla came after SpaceX.
You look at SpaceX, and he's literally fully committed to what he says his goal of international space transportation, interplanetary species. And the thing that I find so fascinating about that is he literally is sending rockets into air and then landing huge portions of the rocket back on planet Earth to be used again, really even perpetuating the ability to make this happen over and over again.
He's making reusable rockets, first in history to ever do that. I
It's
mean, the
that's
guy's amazing.
Yeah, like that's truly a remarkable feat there. And like when you look at where we stand today, it's not like technology's slowing down. It's not like things are stagnating or plateauing. Stuff's only speeding up. So he's only going to get better and better with what he's doing with SpaceX over time.
Oh yeah, with the technological advances and things like that. I mean, he's on top of every single thing you can probably get. I mean, when he first started that, there was old videos of him flying to Russia and buying old Russian missiles and rockets and things like this, which was pretty cool. I saw some old footage on that.
That
So
I've never heard about that. That's very interesting.
I mean, you're not stopping this guy. And, you know, bringing it back to where we started, I mean, yeah, he just bought Twitter. Everyone's worried. Shareholders are like, oh, let's sell the stock. Stock's going to drop, all this thing. Everyone's getting on. We're talking about Elon Musk here.
Yeah,
We're not talking about Joe Biden or Donald Trump. I mean, this is Elon Musk.
right.
I mean, if this guy was running our country, geez, we'd be out of debt right now.
Yeah. It would be super interesting. You have a guy like him, a guy like Jeff Bezos. Imagine those two as president of the US. Like very revolutionary, very, very intuitive. And you think about that, like you just said, this man just purchased Twitter, the largest, one of the
It was
largest media platforms. And
40
just
billion or something.
yeah, 40 something building. I think it might have been 45 billion. And despite all the noise and the negativity you hear surrounding it, that's a major acquisition. And it's crazy to see how wealthy this man's become, that he could not even with a collaboration of other people, but single-handedly purchase a company of that magnitude right there.
Right. I mean, it's amazing. And I think one of the greatest things is, you know, Twitter has also silenced a lot of people as well with free speech and things like this. He really wants this to be a platform to express yourself and for also free speech. He really wants free speech to be a big part of this. And I think that's kind of his main thing that he's trying to implement with the takeover is make, hey, this is open to everyone. We want everyone's opinion. Say whatever you want. You know, we're not a communist country. You know, we have our thoughts. We want to express ourselves and create free speech. And it's a great platform for that.
What's interesting about him is everything that he's done so far has gone really well. No, I'm sure the man's gone through plenty of failures and certain things he could probably step back and try to do differently. But if you look at SpaceX, Tesla, Solar City, the
Boring company's doing great.
yeah, all these companies that he's now working, they're all continuously progressing, and they seem to be progressing in a better direction, which makes me curious about what his plans with Twitter, what he's going to do with it, what the future of Twitter actually looks like.
Yeah, I mean, who knows? And believe it or not, I actually don't even have a Twitter. But guess what? Elon Musk just bought Twitter. I'm getting a Twitter account. I'm gonna start tweeting. I'm gonna start tweeting. Bobby, you and I can be our first tweets back and forth.
Right, right. I created a Twitter account probably in like 2013, and then probably said no more than like 20 or 30 tweets. But I'm definitely open to getting onto that platform. And actually, I probably won't use it all that much, but I'm definitely open to actually getting on there.
I'm gonna follow you on Twitter, Bobby.
I appreciate that. I definitely appreciate that. And going back to how you started this podcast, you know, how are all of these companies relative to this man's life goals?
So yeah, just what I was mentioning. I mean, there's so much information on Elon Musk and so many videos and podcasts and documentaries. I mean, the guy's a legend. I mean, he's a walking legend right now. And I feel like his life goal is sustainability and make the human species be able to live multiplanetary. He says, hey, what if something happens to this planet? Where are we living? And he's trying to create life on Mars, you know, build a space station up there. He's been talking about building a space station on the moon and things like this. And then it was a politician or a news reporter interviewing him. And he said, so you're just creating life on Mars and to create like a station on Mars for rich people to escape.
Yeah.
And he's just, excuse me, it's going to be one of the harshest environments humans have ever seen. You're traveling through space. No one's ever done it before. I mean, you have like a 99% probability of death and failure. He's like, this is not an escape route. This is trying to make life multiplanetary.
Yeah, I think like that's his rebuttal to that statement. That's a pretty serious rebuttal because it's you're not just leaving Earth and now you're in heaven. Like you're good. You're now in somewhere that this is the new frontier. Like
you're not dialing 911. Hey, can you come help me?
Correct. There's no one coming to help. Like whoever goes up there in that route, they're all going to have to become self-sustainable and think and get creative solutions on how to survive.
And with SpaceX, he has the Starlink providing internet around the world to, you know, third world countries and things like this. I mean, this guy is really someone who is wanting to help and who is helping. do things around the world to make it a better place. So
So much motivation. There's, I look at you being so successful in real estate and doing the stuff on the side. You're
back
entrepreneur.
at you, Bobby.
The the things that I'm doing out here with Amazon and real estate. And I look at a gentleman like that. I'm like, how can you do so much? How much motivation can you have? How many goals can you set?
He's like 100 minds in there just working constantly. I mean, you know, I try not to compare myself because you're like, God, what am I doing with my life here? Like, wow, I'm selling some real estate and have a couple Airbnbs, and you know, what are
Yeah,
you doing?
yeah. I mean that level of motivation is phenomenal. George, good. This was a good podcast talking about Elon Musk because to me he's one of those fascinating gentlemen. He's one of those fascinating humans that's really a net plus for humanity. He's somebody that's genuinely trying to do the right thing for humanity, and I think that's super impressive right there. And having this podcast be different than some of the ones we usually do, I also think is a very good thing as well too.
Yeah, 100%. And we do talk a lot about real estate, and you know, with him taking over Twitter and buying Twitter, I thought that was a great point for us to kind of jump on here, talk a little bit about that. We obviously didn't touch on all the points. That's like an 18-hour podcast that we'd have to do. But I like that we touched a little bit about everything. And yeah, congratulations to Elon Musk for buying Twitter.
Absolutely. And George, anything you'd like to share? Any upcoming plans, adventures you got coming up you'd like to share?
Yeah, throw a little hints out there. Close on a property up north in the mountains and right on a river. You can literally throw a rock from the deck to the river. Meeting with contractors next week. Going to get everything start rehabbing. It's going to be a luxury Airbnb in a state park. So really excited for that. I'm talking about, you know, heated bathroom floors, heated towel racks, steam showers. It's going to be, you're going to be comfortable there. You're going to be in the mountains and in the wilderness, but you're going to be comfortable.
And there's going to be some good videos and documentaries coming from this. So
Oh yeah.
we obviously have plans to make sure that we do a podcast on that location as well too. So a lot more to come with that,
Oh
right?
yeah, we have some videographers coming up from Florida with me up there next week to do kind of a before shots. It's in pretty rough shape right now. We're going to do before and after, and we actually have from the Bravo Network. If you guys know Ryan Serhant, his creative director Adrian Vlogs is actually going to come down when the project's finished and do a full production set and get everything going. We're going to have some really nice video documentary from that.
All right, George. Well, always a pleasure having you on. Definitely have you back on soon. All right.
Hey, Bobby, take it easy. Always a pleasure.